What's good, YouTube? Welcome to my channel, man. My name is DivaTequila. I appreciate you being here. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we've got some more Overwatch news for you. The big Mauga Nerfed patch just dropped. This might be the mid-season patch. I don't entirely know. But anyways, the big news obviously is Mauga got nerfed. They're calling it the Year of the Dragon seasonal event, so that's pretty dope. You know what I mean? It says that part begins on January 30th, huh? But either way, you've got some new skins, new cosmetics in the store already, so that's cool to look at. Main thing, obviously, Mauga nerfed. Gonna be some huge change ups to the metas. There's some other character changes as well, so let's get right into it. So his health versus armor balance was changed. He got 50 more health but 50 less armor, which is actually a pretty good nerf without, entirely killing him. He's got a really big hitbox, so he's already a bullet sponge. He requires a lot of support attention, but this should already make him a little less tanky anyway. Armor has a little bit of damage reduction to it, whereas health is like, true damage is done to it. So that's pretty cool. His overall ammo is reduced from 350 to 300. I believe I called that in my last video. I thought it would only be like a 50 drop. If they drop it any more than that, kind of takes away the allure of having the double machine guns, especially because they only do like 4 damage a shot now. So that went down from 350 to 300. The cardiac overdrive was nerfed as well. His lifesteal is down from 70% to 60%. That also applies to the team lifesteal. Cardiac overdrive gives the team damage reduction and also makes it to where his teammates heal for damage that they've done as well. So he's got a bit less team lifesteal, team sustain as well, and the cooldown of it was also increased as well. So 20% nerf. So it went from 10 to 12 seconds. Pretty cool. In terms of his ultimate, it no longer grants infinite ammo, but it does give an instant reload as soon as he pops it. So if he's got 2 shots left, 0 shots left, pops ult, then he instantly has full ammo. But it's no longer going to be infinite. To be fair, 8 seconds firing full, both weapons, I think it takes like 5 seconds or so for him to empty, the whole clip or whatever. So most of the ultimate, he's still going to be able to just spam fire regardless, but still pretty good. At least it's not the whole 8 seconds. And then also I think it makes it to where once the cage is dropped, a lot of the times I would do a lot of damage. I would dive in on a squishy, dive in on a Moira or Mercy or whatever to make it trapped so they can't have their movement abilities. And then I'd instantly be refreshed with maximum unlimited ammo, spam fire for the entire 8 seconds, and then once my cage drops, I'm still at 350. You know what I mean? You start out at max, but now that's not the case anymore. So you have to be a little bit more strategic with how you're using your cage fight and expending your ammo. Also, the overhealth conversion rate was nerfed as well. So a lot of sustainability nerfs happening. A lot of the longevity in combat is significantly decreased, which is also going to significantly decrease how much damage he's able to do. It's going to decrease how much healing he's able to provide, and it's going to decrease how much damage he's able to mitigate. So I think this is a pretty substantial nerf without making him worthless. If I had to, instantly just predict right now, I would think he'd go from like obviously, King S tier to like a high B tier. Obviously, time will tell. Leads us to our next person, who I already felt like I mentioned in my last video. Orisa could, possibly be considered a counter to Mauga. Orisa was nerfed or buffed rather, so removed the fall off damage penalty. So Orisa can now do the same damage at all ranges. So that's pretty dope. Obviously, it's not hit scan, so it's a little bit harder for Orisa to hit those long-range targets, your long-range Pharahs, your Mercies, even the Ashe way off in the back that's left-right wiggling. It's a bit harder to hit those targets, but now you get a bit more reward for hitting those targets because you don't have the damage fall off as well. And also, big thing, which is pretty much directly targeted at Mauga, she's now immune to taking forced critical hit damage. Her Fortify had already prevented critical damage from headshots, but now she doesn't take critical damage at all when she's fortified, which the way Mauga works is once he ignites a target, when he does fire with his second gun or whatever, it does critical damage to ignited targets. So now she's not going to take any critical damage from Mauga. So the Orisa versus Mauga matchup just got heavily swapped. I definitely think Orisa is going to dominate this matchup now. Not only can she fire the squishies away, she's going to take way less damage from Mauga. So for those of you who like Orisa, that's dope. For those of you who already thought she was really tanky, Good luck. I mean, it really only affects the Mauga matchup, that specific portion, but having the reduced damage fall off, I think, is going to be pretty critical in terms of uh, the viability of Orisa. And I think the damage rate of Orisa is about to go up significantly because people that are really good with her are getting a whole lot better off of this. Roadhog was nerfed. Let's see. So total amount healed when he does take a breather was reduced by 50. Obviously, you see a lot of Roadhogs being played at the moment just because he's able to keep himself alive through a lot of these fights, which allows your supports to play a lot more aggressive, doing damage, and focus on healing each other, focus on healing the DPS. A lot of times when you have a Roadhog, you can kind of just let him do his thing unless he gets anti-grenade, but then, Kiriko just blinks to him, Suzu's, they go on about their business. And also the cooldown was increased as well. So he's getting 50 less health per time that he pops his little tactical ability, and he also can't spam it nearly as much. So I think that's pretty good. I honestly found him to be really annoying. I found in a lot of like the casual play games, not in comp queue so much, but in a lot of just quick play games, a lot of Roadhogs were having more healing than some of the supports, which is just pretty insane. Sojourn was buffed. It's not a major buff, but I think it's a pretty good buff. So if you have, rail charge stacked up, if you go, X amount of time without firing off that charged shot, it will just quickly deplete down to 0. But now it'll just quickly deplete and stop at 25. So that's pretty good. Less time for you to get it back to 100, or if, in a panic situation, you're trying to do your slide shot or, power slide away, you can still fire off your charge shot and do a little bit of damage on your way out, you know what I mean? Either way, I think it allows for quicker, potent re-engages, and it also allows for you to protect yourself a little bit more as you're dipping out. So pretty cool. I'm a fan of Sojourn. I think she's, high mobility character, high skill gap character, because you have to hit headies, you have to hit your rail charge shots, and so this is good in my opinion. Sombra's got a few changes as well, so her grace period, where stealth can be cancelled immediately after entering it, has increased from 0.5 seconds to 0.75 seconds. So this is like a slight buff. So before, as soon as she would go into stealth, you could, fire, you could shoot at the Sombra, you could do whatever, and you could almost instantly pull her out of stealth. And, just kind of bully her away from you just by like a random soldier just shooting in the random direction that she may be would instantly pull her out of stealth once she throws her little blink. Now it'll be 0.75 seconds instead of 0.5, so not a major change, but it's still kind of cool. Her cooldown now pauses at 1 second while capturing or contesting objectives from 1.5 seconds. Again, not a major change. It is what it is, and this is referring to her cooldown entering stealth. So you're able to play a little bit smarter against your Sombras. I find Sombra to be an extremely annoying character at the moment to deal with, especially playing as a support character. She comes in, she hacks you, she throws a little virus on you, and you really have to rely on making her miss shots, outplaying her. Usually, if you're on Kiriko, quick cleansing away as well. So it is what it is. And then cooldown on respawning was decreased from 1.5 to 1 second. So you kill a Sombra, she's in her spawn. Usually it takes 1.5 seconds for her to turn invisible and run faster. So that's the big thing. Sombra's gonna be able to get back onto the playing field a lot faster. So a few changes here. I would say these kind of like neutralize each other, but kind of just changes up the mechanics of her stealth a little bit. So we'll see how that plays out. To be honest with you, I don't know if this is gonna make a major difference on the way Sombra's played at the moment. I don't think so, but some slight little tweaks just to balance her out a little bit. Big needed nerf in my opinion. It wasn't a massive nerf, but Ana's biotic grenade, her anti-grenade, her heal boost grenade, that was nerfed, so the effect duration was reduced from 3.5 to 3 seconds. So obviously this is targeted the fact that right now she's a very dominant support. I do think that she's another high skill gap character, so I would hate to see her nerfed into the ground. She has like the absolute least amount of mobility of all the support characters, but she is able to provide potent heals. She's able to deal consistent damage with no fall off to her damage either. And then she also has, the sleep dart, which is huge, and then a buffing and a nerfing grenade on top of her ultimate being extremely potent as well. So she has a lot of utility to her kit. This is bringing her down a little bit. I don't think it's going to bring her down too much to where she's, not played often. I still think she's going to be a top tier pick. I still think she's, you know, a S tier character at the moment. But this makes it to where she's not going to feel as oppressive to play against a really good Ana. So we like to see that. I'd honestly say that it could have gone from 3.5 down to 2.5, and it wouldn't have felt too bad just because of how much utility you do get from that biotic grenade. But it's nice to see that they're paying attention to it, and I would much rather them creep towards the right direction than hard swing in that direction and completely destroy a character, because I do like playing Ana. I like playing with Anas. I even like playing against her because it makes me think, you know what I mean? Illari received some buffs, so that's good. We really want to see, by we I mean myself, you know, people I play with, people I talk to, want to see Illari get played more. She was obviously really good last season. This season, not so much. So her primary fire charge gain is no longer paused by secondary fire, nor by channeling Captive Sun. So her primary, unless you swap it or whatever, is, I think that's going to be her heal. So while you're shooting your gun, while you're shooting at people, your health, whatever, your healing ability is still charging up. Or while you're using your ultimate, you're still building up your healing. For those who aren't familiar with her, you have a finite amount of heals that you can do with Illari with your primary weapon, your solar rifle or whatever. Obviously a lot of her heals comes from her little turret thingy, whatever it's called. I can't think of the right name for it at the moment, but you know what I'm talking about. But this makes it to where she's able to get back into healing her teammates quicker. Ammo is also increased from 14 to 16, so she's going to be able to heal for longer durations of time, and then she's going to be able to get back into healing quicker as well. So we like to see that, because obviously she's a high damage dealing support, but we still want her to be able to heal as well, you know what I mean? So Captive Sun now fully refills secondary fire resource and resets overheated status as well. So this is dope, because then as soon as you pop your ultimate, you don't have to worry about, you're only going to be able to fire off 1 or 2 shots at the enemy and then have to reload because you didn't pay attention to it. You can burst down a target, then you can go into your Captive Sun and you can throw your ult down in the middle. You can take out the target that's already low. They're going to blow up. They're going to spread that Captive Sun around, and they're going to have a full clip to work with, as opposed to only having, you know, X amount of shots. Also reduced the damage fall off penalty on the Sunstruck explosion. So basically, the further away that the enemy team is from the individual who's exploding, you know, if they're really close, they're going to take a higher amount of damage, but if they're further away, they're going to take less damage. Now the high amount of damage is spread out in a further radius. So reduced damage fall off penalty, so the further away you are from the explosion, you're still going to take a little bit more damage. It's still going to be reduced from the maximum amount of damage from being immediately on top of the target, but you'll still get damaged if you're within that radius. Lifeweaver received some changes as well. Projectile speed was increased from 70 to 80 meters per second. This is pretty cool to see, because I don't think that Lifeweaver obviously gets a lot of love at the moment. Some people hate him, some people love him. I like to see a lot of characters being viable. I like to see an eclectic hero pool when I'm playing, you know what I mean? I want to see a lot of characters getting picked. I don't necessarily want to load into a ranked game and it's the exact same 5 versus the exact same 5 games in a row. Or, you know, some slight variations, but for the most part, the past few weeks, that's largely been what it is, you know what I mean? So would like to see Lifeweaver get some love in the rotation. This is going to increase his DPS. This is going to increase his overall viability to do damage from, you know, further ranges and even close range as well, because if your volley's traveling faster, it's going to get to the enemy faster. They're not going to be able to dodge as many shots. You're going to be able to deal more damage, in my overall opinion. I think this is good. And also, his pedal platform is no longer pierced by piercing projectiles. So there's obviously certain weapons that heroes have in the game that, you know, can just move through walls, that can just do whatever. So your pedal platform has a little bit more sustainability, you know what I mean? You're not going to be able to take damage from somebody up under you. They can destroy your pedal platform, but they can't shoot through your pedal platform. So that's dope. And then there was some general bug fixes and such. I'm not really going to go through all that. Key one to note for me is fix the rugby practice challenge not progressing. I couldn't figure out why I was getting 0 progress towards this whatsoever. For those of you who are unfamiliar, on Mauga, for, you know, like the season challenges, there's one of them that says you have to knock back 10 enemies, and then you get, you know, like 5,000 battle pass points for it or whatever. Mine stayed at 0 out of 10 this entire time. I thought that was weird, but I thought maybe I was just a shitter and didn't know what I was doing. So nice to see that that bug is fixed. There's some other issues fixed as well, some other bugs and stuff fixed. love to see a full patch notes full of bugs fixed. You know what I mean? It lets you know that the devs are still trying their best. I know that some of the community are up in arms about the current state of Overwatch. I'm personally loving it. I never played Overwatch 1. Overwatch 2 has been nothing but dope for me. I love it. I play it almost every night. Really enjoying it. Really enjoy seeing that key issues such as Mauga being busted are instantly being targeted, but they're not trying to entirely take characters out of the meta. They're trying to do their best to actually balance, and I think that's pretty key. So, you know, that sums up the patch notes. I think that Mauga was taken down from the top of the meta. I think Orisa's gone back up a little bit more. I think because Mauga's gone down, that's going to make D.Va and Sigma even stronger again. So I think you're going to be looking at like D.Va, Sigma, Orisa as like your top tanks. Obviously, you've got characters who are, or people who are really good at, you know, Doomfist that are going to one-trick Doomfist. You got people that are really good at Wrecking Ball as well. Certain dive comps are just going to thrive with those characters. And honestly, Mauga being nerfed is going to allow some of those characters to play even better. Reinhardt just got a little bit better because Mauga got weaker. Winston just got a little bit better because Mauga got weaker. So that's good to see. I also like seeing that the Roadhog got nerfed. You know, feels good, man. I'd like to do a full updated tier list at some point. I've never actually just sat and, you know, made one of those tier makers and just put all of the characters in a tier list, do a tank tier list, do a damage tier list, do a support tier list, but that'll be a separate video. That'll probably come out, I don't know, that'll probably come out next week. I'd like to see, you know, how the meta is actually fully affected by these patch notes. I don't necessarily just want to guess on where I think all of these characters are going to fall, although I do think I have a pretty good idea. But yeah, man, that sums up the patch notes. I appreciate you watching this far. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're happy about Mauga getting nerfed or a little bit sad about it. I know some people love just abusing the meta, so he was like free elo in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? He was free MMR, free rank points. If you just got good at Mauga, you had like a good support as your duo or something, you could just fry lobby. So, you know, let me know what your thoughts are, man. I'm actually pretty happy with these changes. I personally did like the Mauga meta just because it was something that felt really new. It felt really fresh. It made me have to learn. Honestly, like I said, I spent most of the first half of Season 8 learning how to play Kiriko just to, you know, have that character added to my hero pool. Going to be interested to see how this, you know, affects that. So, yeah, man, let me know what you think in the comments below. Leave a like, subscribe if you aren't already. Know that I love you. I hope you have a wonderful day, man. Stay safe.